we're continuing on working with selection tools and then still going over some of the basics. Tomorrow we're going to get a little bit more complex and we're going to learn about like how to handle like hair and stuff, because well, like when we need to cut out an image, like this is what the basketball player was in here doing. Like he's getting his photo because one of the advanced kids is making something like this, and this one's easy. This guy's got no hair. That's going to be a clean line. And look at in between his fingers, like they messed that up. So that's going to be something like they've got a little bit of the white background there where they didn't clean that up clean enough. And we get little bits of white there, areas that weren't cleaned up appropriately. And you guys are going to learn how to do this, that like bad one that's good enough right now. Tomorrow, we'll talk about how to do it even better. For today's assignment, Selection Tools Part 2 has a zip file. How many of you guys have no idea what a zip file is? Yeah, a ton of hands, and the other ones I know don't. So with the zip file, don't click on it right here, because what this is going to do is just show you the zip file, but there's no download option here, so that don't help us. Instead, we want to click on these little 3 dots and click download. And a zip file is a file where we can place a bunch of different images or whatever in one folder and upload it in one chunk. So that way on Teams, I'm just uploading a zip file instead of, how many is that, like 3, 6, 9, 12, like 15 files. That'd be crazy if you guys had to go through and download 15 individual ones. So zip files are great because you can like upload like a bunch of photos into one zip, kick it over to somebody, upload it, just easier management. What it'll look like when you download it, little folder that looks like this, that we can right click and hit extract all on. And it'll ask you where you want to extract it, and I'm cool with it being in downloads, wherever you got to put it. And once it does that, it'll give us a little folder. What we're doing with this folder is we're going to work on using those selection tools and some of the other options. So I'm going to grab this coral reef and drop it into Photoshop here. And it's going to take a second. It's going to load up. Because this is going to come up here in a minute, if you try that from the zip file and you try to add something in, be like, why is it not working? Like background. And be like, all right, go into Photoshop. It's not going to work from the zip file. It has to be unzipped. So if it's not working, it's because you didn't unzip the file. So yesterday, when we were messing with these fish, we had this guy and we used the magnetic lasso. And that's one way where we can select him out of this by going to this magnetic lasso and individually drawing around him. But with this image, what's going on with the background for it?
White.
Yeah, it's all just one color, right? So another tool we can mess with, right with the quick selection tool under W for magic wand, is magic wand. And this one will select everything that's the same color. And just absolutely magic, if I click on this, it just selected everything that was white. So with this image, if I hit delete, it's going to say I can't because it's a smart object, because it's got that little box on it that we were talking about. But if I right click on it and go to rasterize layer, it becomes an image. So now if I hit delete on my keyboard, background's gone. I've got this little fish. I hit Control D to deselect. And it's pretty clean. But like that basketball player, it's got that little area right there. So I'm going to just grab the magic wand again, select that white, hit delete. There we go. I mean, I could go through and either do that there to fix those ones, or open up the eraser tool with E. I love when they do line up, and be like, okay, let's make this shrink down. I'm just going to erase those white dots. That one right there, just because they stand out to me. Just to clean that up. And now, got a nice little fish here. He kind of blends in with the background though, right? Doesn't really stand out. So one thing we can do with this fish, like we did with our images last 2 weeks ago with the portraits is come up here to image adjustments and hue saturation and play with the hue. And there we go. I'm gonna make him a nice little pink fish. And then I'm gonna duplicate him by right clicking on him and duplicate layer. Can move that. Make this one a little bit smaller. And I'm gonna come up here to image adjustments and hue saturation again, and let's change his color. And I can even move him behind the other fish. So now it's like a little baby redfish with his mom right there. So we can easily delete those backgrounds using that magic wand tool. With images like this yellow fish, that magic wand tool, if we try to use it, ain't gonna work as well, right? So one thing we can try with this guy is right up here with select. And guys, I wish Photoshop had this when I was in high school and college. This one's just full magic. Is select subject. And I'm gonna hit yes, and it's gonna think for a second, and it's like, what's the subject here? I think there's a fish. Oh, it selected the fish for me. And now I can copy that selection and paste it, and I'll delete this extra layer. Selected the fish out, like by magic. So now I can hit Control T, hold Shift and resize him, drop him down, but select and subject, it's pretty good. With some photos, it's not gonna work perfectly. I was showing with fourth period, like here's like a little photo of my baby when he was like a month old getting like his first bath. And if I go to select and subject on this one, little angry old man right there, it's gonna think for a while, and right now it's thinking longer because it's like, what's going on? And it did nowhere near as good because like the same skin color for the baby is my wife's hand, so it picked that up. It picked up part of the bowl for some reason. So select subject isn't the only tool we can rely on, but it's a great one when it does work. The other ones that we can play with here are things like seaweed. When we drop these in, and see that black background, we can play with how that overlays over the image with this right here where it says normal. So as I'm scrolling through these, I can find things like linear dodge, yeah, I like linear dodge, and I can like put that up in the water and it'll give it like a semi-transparent look, and it wipes out those darker colors. So another way we can add things in. Or with the bubbles, I throw these over the top, and do the same thing. Switch where it says normal here under the layers panel. Go to lighten, gets rid of all the dark in the image. I just see the light parts of it, and now we have bubbles swimming around with the fish. Yeah, this part's magic right there. Yeah, so where we're, oh, same thing with the jellyfish. The jellyfish is another one. If we go to lighten, now it's a transparent jellyfish, looks amazing there, just swimming around. And again, if I want to like duplicate him, right click and duplicate, move that around. If I want to put him at an angle, I can hit Control T and either shrink him down or rotate him around. So now he's upside down. But ways we can manipulate and move things around in our image. What we're going to be doing throughout the period here is, first we're just going to be playing around again in the aquarium, but then the second part is we're going to be hopping in front of like one of the backdrops, grabbing our cameras, and you got to green screen yourself somewhere. So you'll, yeah, or one of your buddies. Yeah, it's cool. Like, So you guys are going to be working in some groups and green screening yourself. There's the green backdrops there, there's the black ones. If you've got black hair, I don't recommend standing up against the black backdrop because that'll just like start to pull that away. Or if you're wearing like black clothing, then hop in front of the white ones or the green unless you're wearing green. But trying that select subject, trying the different selection tools, and let's see what we can do.